Here in Virginia, it's a beautiful day, and in just a few hours. Hello there, everybody. How's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am here on this Monday, April 30th, 2018, with my end of April. Hey, this is what I'm doing for Mania video. I know it's Monday, and so I know it's a little weird to be seeing me on a Monday, but that's the way the chips fell. I didn't film last week, and so here we are today because I want to get this done before May, and more specifically before Mania starts. So yeah, hi, how's it going? I hope that everybody's doing well. Grab some stitching. This is not going to be a terribly long video. I don't have a whole lot of time because it's already 1:15 in the afternoon, and I have some things that I'm trying to accomplish today, which you'll see here in a minute. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a really quick life update. I don't have any Q&A, and guys, I'm sorry. I know that I need to be doing these shout outs, but like I said, I'm on a time crunch today, and so I'm gonna have to save that for next time, because I didn't prepare anything again. I'm trying to be as quick as I can, while still committing to quality. So I'm sorry, but no shout outs again this week. Hopefully next time I will make an effort to do that. And I just had an idea, so I'll talk about that here in a minute. Then I'm going to talk about what I have worked on, what I'm currently working on. I have a very short discussion on sort of a change in approach, a change in theory, and then the smallest amount of haul and a very short segment on knitting. Books I'm going to wait till later because I have some ideas about what I want to do in May with that. And knitting, I've only worked on one thing, so should be pretty quick. Stitching, though, I've worked on quite a few things in the last week and a half. So let's sort of start there. We'll start with the life update. And why I didn't film last Wednesday like I had alluded to that I might be able to do. So last Wednesday was my birthday, and real quick here, I just want to say thank you to everybody who sent messages, who posted on Facebook, who just anybody who reached out on my birthday or thereafter. Much appreciated. The love was felt. I had a really great birthday. It was a nice day. It wasn't like it was just everything that I would want for my birthday. So my mom had the day off. And as you guys know, my mom's birthday is the day after mine. And so we had sort of like she and I kind of a date. We went to the movies. We went to go see Blockers. And it was all right. It was funny, but it wasn't like the greatest comedy I've ever seen. And then we went to lunch at one of my favorite restaurants up in that area. It's called Sweetwater. I think it's a chain. It's like an East Coast chain, but I love it very much. They have some of my favorite little bread rolls. I call them donuts because they're sweet rolls. Yeah, dangerous. Anyway, and so I was up there. I got home about 6 o'clock. So that was my whole day gone. But I got home to let's see, a dozen red roses from my husband, a cake, a flower bouquet but shaped like a cake from my brother. He had those delivered. That was so sweet. Thanks, Matt. Let's see, Danny made us dinner. He made, we found this recipe on Pioneer Woman for this, it's like a cheesy red sauce pasta. It's so good. And so he made that for us for dinner. And then we watched Father Figures. So it was like my birthday was just full of food and comedy films. And it was pretty nice. You know, it's just taking it easy, nothing super fancy. Because on Saturday, we went to DC and we had dinner at Kingbird at the Watergate, so the infamous Watergate Hotel. In fact, my little dessert was served on this little doily, and on the top of it it said, "Well, I am not a crook." And so, they're cashing in on what makes the Watergate Hotel infamous. Anyway, and yeah, it was just a really great time. The food was good. It was, we had some issues. We had some issues with service, but the food was good and the drinks were awesome. And it's a beautiful restaurant. And it's right on the river in DC, and it was wonderful. Just spending time and eating too much and drinking too much, and it was a good time. So we did that on Saturday. It was like fancy dinner out. And other than that, it's just been kind of chill. I turned 30, but I don't feel any different. The only thing that really changed in turning 30 was that I had to update my Instagram profile. And I did that this morning because it used to say 20 something. But that's not me anymore. But that's it. I'm not feeling any type of way about turning 30. A lot of you commented and said that the 30s were your favorite decade, and so I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Age is just a number. It doesn't really mean anything. And maybe that's because I still get ID'd at Rated R movies, so maybe. Anyway. So yeah, it's been pretty great. And so, like I said, thank you guys so much for anybody who sent well wishes. It was a good birthday. I also want to apologize for the lack of birthday sal this year. I just never got it together. So I'm going to have to start planning now for next year. 31 will be fun. Whatever, we'll do a birthday countdown next year. As I said, no Q&A this week, and I'll try the whole shout-outs next time. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and jump right in and talk about the projects that I have worked on over the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks. So the last I saw you, I was working on my Stargazer by Mirabilia. So here's what she will look like finished with a sideways VT. Speaking of VT, did you guys watch the NFL draft? No? Okay. Well, Virginia Tech made history because the Edmonds brothers, Tremaine and Terrell, brothers, not the same year, not the same age, were both drafted in the first round. So, woohoo, go Hokies. Anyway, so this is Mirabilia's Stargazer, and you'll be seeing a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw her. She looked a little weird last time, I know. And so I made sure that on the last day that I worked on her to finish out her face so that she looks a little less weird. My fabric is a 32 count Belfast in Florin by Chromatic Alchemy. And so here's where we are now. And I'm smitten. I'm smitten. Really, really just impressed by her face. I stitched the skin 1/1, and if I get much closer, you're going to see the imperfections in it, so I won't. We'll just keep it back here. I had a hard time stitching this skin, and I'm not sure what that was. I'm assuming it's because of the dark dye process on the fabric. It shrunk the weave down so much. But I finished out the skin of her face and her neck, and then backstitched it because it looked even weirder without backstitch, if you can believe it. And I'm not sure what else I did since you saw her. I'm normally really good about watching my last video before filming, and I did last Tuesday. So the information is not fresh in mind. But her ribbon is done, and I don't know if that was done last time. I told you guys that I had to rip it out and reconfigure it with just three shades instead of 6 so that it was a little bit darker. And I've worked down her sleeve. Yeah, I think I had already done that the last you saw her. So there is my Stargazer. I absolutely adore her. Oh, yes, my rings are on the correct finger now. I meant to mention that before. That was my birthday present from Danny. We finally got those fixed because I'm not losing weight fast enough for them to fit naturally. So anyway, thought that I would point that out before somebody asked the question. Anyway, here is Stargazer. I love her. I'm really, really digging how the conversion is coming. I gotta tell you, this red is looking so much more magenta than it is. It's 902, so it's like a dark maroon, and it looks magenta. That's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely darker in real life. Anyway, so there is Stargazer. And I'll get back to her eventually? Who knows? Okay. Next, at the weekend, I was pulling out my mini pirate for my Heaven and Earth Designs weekend. And I was stitching this pirate along with Sarah from Tipsy Stitcher. She's doing the full size, I'm doing the mini. And so here is what this design will look like finished. This is artwork by Sabine Ritz, charted of course by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I was working on page 2, so preview here of what this looked like last you saw it. I approached this very differently than I have as of late as far as my Heaven and Earth Designs go. So this is on a 25 count Lugana in antique white. It's not one of the pre-gridded ones, so I had to grid it, which is fine. So one of the things that really slows me down with Heaven and Earth Design stitching is that on the top pages, this top row of blocks, you have to add in the threads all the time, whereas the subsequent blocks below it, there's threads parked there. This top row always takes me an extraordinary amount of time. It's just so slow going. So this time, in order to maximize the amount of time that I had to work on this, I decided to just stitch that top row and then start my diagonal blocks, so that from here on out, I don't have any more of those slow blocks. It took 2 days to get that top row done. In fact, maybe even 3 to get that top row done. But I managed to do that. So there are threads parked now, and now it will just be zoom down the rest of the page. There's a good chunk of confetti in this. You can see how many threads I have parked here, just in these essentially 8 sections of thread. It's a good amount of confetti, but I love how it's looking. So this is, I mean, it's obviously the rope ladder there, back behind her head. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love how this is turning out. So it was good to work on this, and I set small goal. I said 1,200 stitches, and I think I did almost 1,400. So I achieved my goal without going nuts. Stayed sane with it, but, you know, made some good progress. So I'm pleased. And my goal for this for the end of the year is just this page and one more. So if every time I pull it out I get 1,300 stitches done, yeah, I'm a big fan. So there's Mini Pirate. So April is and was my month of indulgences. And one of the things that is indulgent to me is working towards a finish. Because I'm so whip focused and finish focused this year, that feels really good. And so for my month of indulgences, let's feel good and get a finish. Well, I've got like nothing that's close to a finish, you guys. I mean, just nothing at all. But I did have something that I could get a mini finish on. And so that was Little Red Barn, a part of the Farmhouse Christmas collection by Little House Needleworks. So that is the design as charted. And preview here what this looked like the last you saw it. When I started this, I only started with the white. It's an off-white that I picked as opposed to the hand-dyed. So I just had, I think, the top border and then one side of the roof of the barn. And after 2 days effort, I finished it. 2 days more effort, I should say. So combined total, 3 days. And my little red barn is finished, and it's so sweet. I absolutely love this. The white that I picked, 3865, it shows up a lot better on the fabric in person than what you're seeing there. I know that it looks, I mean, if I tilt it the right way, it almost disappears. But it really, it stands out a good amount. I think this green, what's that green? Weeping Willow. Yeah, I love that color. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous classic colorworks. So there is that. Like I said, it took me a couple days. 3 total days, I think, to finish this one out. The fabric that I used is 32 count Belfast in flax from Zweigart. And yeah, I'm super excited. So I got a mini finish. It's not quite a full finish because to me the full finish will be the full 9 block series. But nonetheless, a mini finish. I think I'm up to 6 mini finishes and 3 legitimate finishes this year. So there is that. So I need to, there's a couple of things that need to happen. First of all, Millennium Warp. It is a little bit longer than it is wide because my Millennium just, I ratchet up the tension super high and so it stretches it a little bit. So I need to hit this with an iron. And then I need to get 8 more pieces of this fabric so that I can do the rest of the series. So there is that. Love it. So I'm gonna do a little bit of haul here real quick because it just makes sense in the timeline. So I got this in the mail, and this is what I told you guys I was gonna start for my birthday. Heartstring Sampleries Coffee Quaker. Now I didn't tell you what this was, but I said that I ordered something and that it would be here in time for my birthday and that everybody has already stitched it. And so now you will see that literally everybody has already stitched it. So let me tell you this story about what happened here. Last week sometime, no, a couple weeks ago sometime, I was watching Miska Cat Jen. I was watching her latest, and she showed this, and she was like, I know, I'm the last person to stitch it, and I went, you want to bet? But I did that thing that we always do sometimes. I hit pause, and I went over to Etsy, and I ordered it directly from Beth Twist, because I'm the last person to own it. At least the last coffee drinker to own it. So yeah, I ordered that, and I made plans to start this on my birthday. And so the day before my birthday, the Tuesday before, I sat down to kit this up. I don't think I have any, I might have a couple of the called for weeks, Gentle Art, and Classic Colorworks, just a whole mix of things. And so I was going to do either DMC or substitute for what I had in stash as far as hand-dyes are concerned. I was going to figure something out. And I grabbed fabrics options, and so I grabbed, this is Colonial Parchment from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. Just a gorgeous neutral. Really kind of a fabulous neutral, actually. Might have to get like a couple yards of that. And then I also pulled Gold Sand by XJU Design. And I'm not going to pull this out or unwrap it, but it's 28 count linen. What kind of linen is it? Meran, M-E-R-A-N linen. And it would fit on either of those. And I've been talking to you guys how I wanted to use my XJU Design fabric, so I thought this would be great. So I'm kitting this up and planning on starting it the next morning, and I'm telling you guys, I got so anxious about this. I was like, I don't want to start anything. I have too many whips already on the go. I'm so whip focused. I keep saying this. I know you're all getting sick of hearing it. I am a broken record. It's fine. But like I just couldn't in my heart of hearts start this knowing full well that I'm not going to stitch it to finish, and it's just going to be another one on the pile. On top of that, it's not Year of Whips, and so it's not a focus this year. Like, you guys, I was just not feeling super good about this. So I got up Wednesday morning and I went, you know what? Instead of a new start, I'm going to work on one of my favorite whips. And I'll hold on to this for when the mood strikes at some other time. I thought maybe I would start it this past Saturday because it was Coffee Stitcher's birthday, and so I thought, well, Coffee Quaker on Coffee Stitcher's birthday, that could be fun. But I was still feeling this way on Saturday, and so obviously it never happened. So I'll start this at some point. Who knows when? So there's that. So, as I said, Wednesday I pulled out one of my favorite whips, and I went with a Year of Whips piece. And it's one that needs a lot of work. And it's probably the one that I have set at the highest priority of my Year of Whips, because I have a date where I want this done. I want it done by the end of the year, because I am borrowing the chart and I want to get it back to its owner as soon as possible. So, Lady of the Flag. No more pomp and circumstance. We all know where we're headed with this. Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. And so, preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it. I worked on this for the last 6 days, ending yesterday. And I am really, really pleased with what I got done. But this project has sort of changed the game for me. So I'll explain that here in a minute. Fabric is a 32 count Belfast in Vintage Blue Whisper by Zweigart. It's a printed fabric. And so I'm just going to scroll up. And keep scrolling because I kept going. So that's where we are now. Can you see that? I've got some things parked here. Come on. Work with me here. There we go. Okay. She's beautiful, isn't she? She's really coming together. She gets taller and taller and taller and taller every day. So here's the deal. With this piece, I've sort of set timestamps for when I want certain parts done. And so by the end of April, by today, I wanted the top half done. And I accomplished that pretty early on. I finished out the top half. So I am now very firmly in the bottom half of the design. So the bottom half of the design, we're talking 170 stitches wide by 170 stitches tall. So I still have a back and I'm halfway done. So I divided the bottom half up over the next 7 months, May through November. And what I came to was a chunk of 25 stitches deep by 170 stitches wide. So the width of the design by 25 stitches. And when you do the math on that, that's 4,250 stitches every month. And that's a lot. That's a lot of stitching every month. Now, obviously this is a Mirabilia. It is not a full coverage design, and so it's not exactly 4,250, good grief, that's a ton of stitches every month. By and large, you know, there's 2 to 4 blocks on the margins that are totally empty for each of my chunks, so to speak. until you get down to August and September. August and September comprise the width of the design. The absolute widest points hit right there in August and September. So it may not be 4,250 stitches, but it's certainly 4,000 easily. Without blinking an eye, it's 4,000 stitches. Now, I worked on this project for 9 days in April, 9 total days. Far more than I have allotted each month towards this project. And I did 3,680 stitches on Lady of the Flag in April, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot for one project. 9 days is a lot for one project. That's almost a third of the month devoted to this one project. So the math isn't adding up. I had originally planned spending 4 days every month on Lady of the Flag in order to see the stitching done by November. If it takes me 9 days to do 3,680, how long is it going to take me to do 4,250? And these sections, again, not the full 4,000 some odd, but a lot of stitching still. I mean, it's packed in there. There's a lot of stitching going on. So I don't want to say that I was in panic mode, but I was a little bit concerned about my chances of actually seeing this goal accomplished, of having this finished by November. Based on my average, we're talking, I have another 40 days of this, so that's 10 months worth of 4-day blocks. Some stitching days are so much better than others. I think I stitched for 15 minutes on Wednesday, so I did not get 400 stitches done that day, so I had to make up for, Anyway, I'm going on and on about this. So basically, that's why this got an additional 6 days on top of the 3 that I had given it earlier in April, so that I could get the May goal accomplished. So May is done, essentially. I could not work on this until June, and May is done. And May cuts off at this line. So I've got a good section of June here, at least in this sash, done. The sash is not done, but it's closer for June's sake. But guess what, y'all? It's still not enough. In my head, I'm still concerned. I don't think that I can get that done by November, unless I change things up. So in May, I talked about going monogamous for the first 15 days of the month. And then, let me talk about that here in a minute. I'll come back to that after I get through the projects that I have worked on. So there's Lady of the Flag. And after, I wasn't ready to put her down yet. You're getting a flash of the back. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. I've got no back self-consciousness words. I didn't want to put her down, but I had some other things that I wanted to accomplish before the end of the month, and so I did put her down. I normally get twitchy around 4 days, and this was day 6, and I was like, I'm not ready yet. So clearly the mind shift is going more than surface level. Anyway, so yesterday, Sunday, is when I normally work on Spooky Countdown by the Primitive Hare. And because I am doing May-nogamous or Monogamania, I'm not going to be working on this for the first 3 Sundays, I think. I think it's a total of 3 Sundays. Nope, just the first 2 Sundays. Okay. So I wanted to be sure to pull this out yesterday so that I could at least catch up, because I hadn't worked on it last Sunday. I wanted to at least catch up to where I needed to be so that at the back half of May, I could catch up then. But 2 blocks is a lot easier to catch up on than 4. Anyway, so this is, like I said, Spooky Countdown Sal by the Primitive Hair. Preview of what it will look like finished, as well as what it looked like the last time you saw it. My fabric is a 32 count Belfast in Gingerbread by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And so let me go ahead and pan up. So here's what I did. I did this block and finished the back stitch for both of them around the frames. I was going to change this and make each letter a different color, but I just went with the black because I think that it gives some good balance. Oh look, I went blue again. That's fine. I think that it gives some good balance to the coloring on this top row to make them all black. And then came down here and did the 7th block, I think. Yes, the 7th block, the cauldron. And again, I was going to change the colors a little bit, but I decided against it. And so I finished that up first thing this morning and finished the back stitch around that. So I am all caught up officially according to the calendar. Started this 7 weeks ago, and so I have 7 blocks done. And as you can see, I've got the tail hanging here for the next block. So that's where we stand with that. And I finished that up this morning, and again, I could have kept going with it. I could have gotten ahead of the game so that come May I wasn't behind at all, but I have some other plans. So in talking about Mania, I talked last time about how this Mania for me is sort of a trial run. I am looking at changing my rotation significantly moving forward, and so May is going to be my trial run. And so here in May, I'm spending the first 15 days on one project. The last 15 days, I'm going to work on some other things. So my Lady of the Flag 4-day rotation, my Heaven and Earth designs for full coverage fanatics, and then whatever other kind of goals that I have. So in looking at the projects that I have remaining in Year of Whips and the number of months that we have, well, let me backtrack a second. So this being a trial run, I was thinking of adopting this for every month moving forward. And so in June, the first 15 days will be focused on one project. And the last 15 or 16 days, depending on the month, I can work on the other things for shorter chunks. And so I thought that that would be beneficial in helping sort of keep the motivation going, because I used to tend to get twitchy after 3 or 4 days. So we have 8 months left of the year. And conveniently enough, I have 8 projects that are excluding full coverage, Lady of the Flag, because that's guaranteed each month, and anything else that's modular. So the Flowers of the Month or the Prairie Scholar Alphabet, excluding those 5 projects, I have 8 remaining. So we have 8 months and I have 8 projects. This could be something here. So the first 2 weeks of each month, we'll get 1 project. So I'll put in 2 weeks straight on each of these whips. And that sounded really good, because like I would have a focus whip and then I could sort of deviate in the back half of the month. However, Lady of the Flag taught me a really important thing, and that is that 2 weeks is not going to be near enough. It's just not going to be enough for some of these. Rose Fairy, I still have her entire top half and some in the bottom half. The Raider, the same is true. Under the Moonlight, I have a ton of skin left to do, her hair and all of that beading. Raven Queen, I don't know if I'm going to get it done this year. Jingles by Lizzie Kate, I have 9 full blocks left to do and then 2 more half blocks. Like, there's no way that I'm going to get these things done with just 2 weeks. And so I would essentially have to be committing all of this time, these 2 solid weeks, to these projects, and they're not going to get done even still. And so at first glance, this focus and then sort of letting myself deviate a little bit sounds like a really great idea, but when I really considered it, number one, that's not going to be enough time for Lady of the Flag. It's just not. It's just not going to be enough time for her. It's not going to be enough time for my full coverage designs to only get little bits of each of those, the ends of the month. It's just not. I average about 12 to 14, 15 days per page, and I still have 6 pages left to achieve that goal for Heaven and Earth Designs. And we're not even talking about Prairie Schooler Alphabet that I haven't touched since January, and Flowers of the Month. I still have 4 more of those. Like, y'all, this is not getting done. I know that it's not all about getting it all finished. I'm fully aware of that. But there is a piece of me a very large piece of me, that wants to whip down. I was so excited at the end of the year last year because I had 25 finishes and I was down to 68 whips. So here we are, 4 months later, I have 67 whips. What? And they're just, everything left is big. Everything left is just huge. And I don't want this many whips going forward, you guys. I just don't. And so I am contemplating, and some of you might have seen on my Instagram stories the other week, posted on my Instagram stories that I'm seriously contemplating going monogamous to finish. So essentially, like the way that I pitched it in my own head, Joan Elliott July. So in July, I'm going to work on Rose Fairy until she's done. And that might take 3 weeks. It might take 5 weeks. So I might be well into August at that point. Who knows? And then maybe I'll go to work on something smaller. So I'll work on A is for Anchor and the Prairie Schooler Alphabet, and I'll get that mini finish. And then I'll move on to something else that's going to take a long, long, long time to finish. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. And so May is still going to be a trial run, because this project that I'm working on in May is not going to be finished in 15 days. It's just not. And so I'll see how I feel in 15 days. If I feel like going on for another 2 weeks on it, maybe I will. I don't know. All of this is subject to change at the drop of a hat. It's all, it's ever changing. Nothing is ever the same with me. So thinking about going completely monogamous for a little while, because I want finishes. I want to finish these projects that have been here for too long. I felt really good in April when I put in 6 days on Opus 2 and made some really great progress, but now I want it finished. Like, now I want to see the progress to the end point. It's time. Some of these are so old. I mean, not so old, but old as far as my stitching career is concerned. I started Rose Fairy in 2014. That's 80% of my stitching career. I don't want them anymore. I want to have these things so that I can frame them, maybe, at some point. if I remember to, if I try. I don't know. So something to keep in mind. In the future, I may be going monogamous. We'll see. Okay, so now we're going to get to the point of the video where the title comes into frame. A study in irony. I'm talking about, I don't want these whips. I'm thinking about going monogamous. I want to finish things. I'm going to have 2 new starts today. Okay, so here's the first one. The first one I bought on a whim like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. I was perusing Etsy looking for some PDF prim designs because I find my eye being drawn towards the primitive things more and more now. I think because they're small. And truth be told, a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about doing a legitimate stitch mania, like a new starts mania. Even after I got done saying I was doing monogamania, I was still thinking about it. So I was looking at some smaller things that I could start just off the cuff, willy-nilly. So I finished up Spooky Countdown this morning, that final block, and I went, I'm going to start something now. And so this was one of the ones. So this is from Sub Rosa on Etsy. This is a Hungarian designer, and I'm going to insert a preview of the design here. It is called Primitive Hearts. I'm only doing half because I don't care for the alphabet on the other side. I'm just going to do the one side of it, and I'm going to try to finish it today. So let me go ahead and show you where I got to. There we have it. Just a simple little thing. Very symmetric, very simple, nothing too exciting going on. It's originally charted in weeks dye works, but I just decided to go with the DMCs. And this is on a 32 count Belfast in Platinum by Zweigart. So that's where I'm starting from. And like I said, I'm going to try to finish it today. But it's real little. I mean, it's less than 5 inches square once finished. So I'm going to try to finish that today. The thing is that I did purchase that chart on a whim and another one from Sub Rosa called, now I can't remember what the other one is called, but anyway, Stitch from Stash is still kind of in my head, and I would really like to stitch on the things that I buy. I mean, I don't really want to buy things and put them in my stash. Of course, then, you know, there's this, and it's just going in the stash for now. Because that's not the other thing that I'm starting today, by the way. That's not it. But so Stitch from Stash is in my head, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to start the things that I'm purchasing, and so I did. I started that. I'm gonna try to finish that today, so stay tuned. We'll see what happens with that. Then the other thing that I'm starting, I ordered this 10 days ago, I think, something like that, and then promptly forgot about it. And then I got an email this morning saying, hey, thank you for your purchase, here's your chart. And I went, oh, I forgot about that. And I thought, well, it's okay, I'll put that to the side. I logged in to my account and I printed it off, and I went, I really want to start this now. This is gorgeous, and it's little, and it could be a Stitch from Stash credit, and I'm still thinking about this. Start the things that I buy. So I'm going to start that too. And that is Jardin Privé's Festival des Fleurs. So Festival of Flowers. And it is a mystery sale. I have no business starting a mystery sale whatsoever because I have said that I was not doing any this year. But here we are. And The blocks are super sweet. They're just little things. I think the alphabet is going to be incorporated because I think this first one has ABC in it. And it's one little block it's 9 releases on the 1st and the 15th of every month. So it's going to be over real quick. It's not very big. I think stitched on 28 count or 14. It is 12 by 12. So not humongous. Actually, saying that out loud, it sounds pretty big now that I think about it. But I'm smitten with it, and so I'm going to start it today. Because I'm going to work on this until it's done, and then I'm going to have the evening, and then what? So I'm going to start that today. So yeah. So a study in irony. Here I am talking about how I'm going monogamous, but I'm going to start 2 things today. However, it is still the month of indulgences, and I don't feel like I have indulged all that much. So I'm kind of cool with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's it for current works in progress. So let's switch over and talk about plans. Do you guys want to see what I'm working on for May? For Mania? I'm so excited about it. Okay, can I get a drum roll, please? Somebody. I won't drum roll because it'll be loud and ridiculous. So, the project that I will be working on for the first 15 days of May, at least, maybe more, is The Reader by Joan Elliott. So Kim, Spartan Stitcher, you were right. I couldn't tell you that you were right, but you were right. So, yes. Kim guessed immediately. She was like, this is one of your 2016 May starts, and it's a year of Whips piece, and I was like, maybe not. But it was, yeah. Pretty much was for the whole time. This is another of my favorite whips. I almost worked on this here in April, but like I said, because I was making it my monogamous mania piece, I couldn't very well do that. So, The Reader by Joan Elliott. This is on a 28 count cashel linen in gingerbread by Picture This Plus. And I pulled this out the other day to make sure that I had everything that I needed to get this started. And I have so much work left to do, it's not even funny. I really thought in my head that I was closer than I am. But yeah, 15 days is not going to be enough to finish this, y'all. So, let's see, does this one make it blue too? No, it doesn't. That's funny. Oh, yes, it does. Never mind. So here's where I'm starting from. Oh, it's not going to fold. Okay. So yeah. Holy cannoli, Batman. There is so much left to be done here. I thought I was really close on having the bottom half done. And so I thought, well, maybe 15 days I could get it done. But no, there's no way. There's just no way. I have maybe 75% of the bottom half done. And that's not even counting the backstitch, which is, you know, a Joan Elliott trademark, is a lot of backstitch. So this is what I'm working on for May. I'm so excited. I worked on this for 3 days last year. Sorry, my hair's doing crazy things. I worked on this for 3 days last year, and that wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. I started this on May 30th, I think, 2016 for Mania. My first Mania and my last Mania where I did a ton of new starts. I don't think I'll ever do that again. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited for Mania, you guys. For Monogamania. Speaking of which, Monogamania and Monogamous are the hashtags that I'll be using on Instagram with this. So if you're doing Monogamous or Monogamania, tag your projects too. Let's fill those hashtags up on Instagram. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to sink my teeth into that and maybe finish the blue skirt of doom. Maybe? I mean, the blue part of the skirt is done except for her knee up near the top. So I started at the halfway point, and so we're like at here. So there's still a little bit of blue skirts left to do. But I've got like all of this over here, and all of this border, and all of this. I need to look and see if I've got PVO1 in stash. It calls for Krennic, but the conversion is to PVO1. So is it PVO1? Yes. Maybe. Gold. Whatever. So I'm so excited. All right, so here's what's going to happen. Here's what I think is going to happen, and I don't know if this is necessarily the case. I don't think that I'm going to vlog for Stitch Mania. I think that a vlog with just one project would get very boring very fast, and my life is not interesting enough to make up for the difference. So instead, what I'm going to do is on Wednesdays, I'm going to do a Stitch With Me video. I'm going to... So you guys will get to see the progress that I have made over the last week or so in between these Stitch With Me's. Or maybe I'll do them on Tuesdays. No, that won't work because I'm out of town tomorrow. Wednesdays, my normal days, I will do Stitch With Me's. So you'll get updates, but also a Stitch With Me video. And I had the thought a little while ago that I'm going to do my shout-outs during these Stitch With Me's. So that would be a really great opportunity because I can stitch and yammer on about these various FlossTubers that I would like to shout out. So that's what my plan is going to be. Stitch on the reader, yammer on, and I'll publish those every Wednesday. And let me see, how many Wednesdays do we have in May? In the first 15 days of May. 2. So I'm going to do these Stitch With Me's on the 2nd, the 9th, and the 15th, barring any complications. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the plan. And so we'll go from there. So if you guys have questions that you want me to answer in these Stitch With Me videos, post them in the comments below. I'll be happy to do so on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday. If you've got questions for me, post them down there. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to seeing all of you guys go absolutely bananas and start all of the things. I'm so excited to see that. I'm excited to get a good chunk of progress on one of my favorite whips that I've ever stitched. I'm just excited. Mania is just too much fun. It's just a good time. So anyway, I look forward to it. So that's it for plans. Let's do haul real quick, and I mean real quick. Threads of the month from Color and Cotton for April. And everybody else has already shown these, and so I'm not even going to take them out of the plastic. They're just going to sit right like they are. Aren't they gorgeous? If I had known any better, I would have subbed these in for my Sabrosa. Anyway, those are gorgeous. That's it for the haul. I have some other things coming, but they're not here yet, so we'll move right on in. And so the last topic for conversation here is knitting. And so that I'm going to make this pretty brief because I've only worked on one project. And that is the Impressionist Mystery Knit Along by Helen Stewart and of Curious Handmade. And so let me go ahead and show you what I've done. This is in my Mrs. Brown's Bags large tote. And I think that this is the Andy collection, if memory serves. And so I've made some really good progress on this, but it's not going to look like it when you guys see the stitch marker for where, or the progress keeper for where it was last time. But these rows are so long. They are over 400 stitches at this point. And so yeah. So if you are working on the Impressionist Mystery Knit Along and you have not finished Clue 3 yet and you don't want spoilers, then I would suggest you tune away because I'm about to show you through Clue 3. I haven't started Clue 4 yet, the final clue. So here is where we are now. And I'm just going to stretch out this center section because that's basically, this is pretty much a snapshot of the whole design. So this stitch marker right here is where I was last time. And so it doesn't look like a ton. I mean, you know, it's maybe 15 rows, I want to say. 15 or 16 rows. Oh, it's more than that. That was in Clue 2. I don't know. Anyway, so I have finished up the lace section in the purple, which led into the lace section in the white. And then there was some crazy striping going on. It was white, light purple, white, light purple, dark purple, light purple, dark purple, white, dark purple, light purple. Kind of bouncing all over the place. Like I said, I am on Clue 4, which was the final clue, which was released last Saturday, I think, or maybe the Saturday before. No, it was last Saturday. No, it wasn't. It was the Saturday before. I'm thinking that today is Wednesday, but it's not. It was the Saturday before last. Anyway, so I've just got the last clue to knit. And Clue 4 spoilers a bit, I guess, is only color C. So only the darkest shade for these last 20 or so rows of the design in total. And that's a good thing too, because when I finished, I weighed up my birthday cake, the purple, the light purple, and I had 10 grams. That's it. That's probably not enough to make it 2 rows on this because this is gargantuan. It's just super, super long. So I'm going to work on this probably some tomorrow. I'm going to try to have it finished by this weekend. I'd really like to be able to block it this weekend. So we'll see. Okay, the final thing that I have to share with you today is some recent yarn purchases. So Eat Sleep Knit has a badge that if you order on your birthday, you get, I think it's 10 points towards the Yarnathon, something like that. And so on Wednesday, I made sure to place my order. And last year I ordered birthday cake, which was the yarn that I'm using in that shawl there. And this year I also ordered cake. So I'm about to show you my yarn baby. Look at this thing. It's massive. This thing is huge. Isn't it gorgeous though? But yeah, like totally a yarn baby. So this is from Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and it is Cake DK. So right there, it says cake. And this is 100% merino. It doesn't say superwash. So I hope it's superwash. And, well, I guess it doesn't matter for what I have planned for it. It is 765 yards of a DK weight yarn. So just an absolute extraordinary amount of yarn. One more of these and I could almost make a sweater, I think. But I'm not. I'm going to make a boneyard shawl by Stephen West with this. The colorway is Big Brain Blue. So this is Big Brain Blue, and I'm making a boneyard shawl by Stephen West. All of the bees. This is my favorite color that Eat Sleep Knit still had available when I ordered it. So I was just gonna get this, but I had less than 400 yards left to the next level in the Yarnathon. So there are different levels that you can reach throughout the year, and it's based on yardage purchased or earned through projects or, you know, whatever. So this was 765 yards. I had less than 400 to go after this to reach the next level. So coming back to this is High-Low by Mad Tosh, and I talked a lot about this last time. I got it re-caked up as best I could. It's not great, or skeined, not caked. It's not great, but it'll work. And so in thinking about this, I wanted to pair it with something that I would knit them together. And so originally I thought a gray or a black because it's got these gorgeous black speckles. But I have a pink and black, very dark gray shawl that I never wear. I don't wear it because it's just not a color scheme that I find myself attracted to. So I'm thinking of some other pink combinations. And so what I came up with was pink and tan. And so it's much softer. It's not very high contrast, but I think that they work well together. What do you guys think? Yeah? This is semi-solid verging on solid. This is also Madeline Tosh in Tosh Merino. This is not Tosh Merino Light. This is Air Light because they didn't have this colorway available in the Tosh Merino Light. So Air Light is also fingering weight. It is 60% merino, 20% silk, 20% baby alpaca, which means that it's soft and warm. Squishy, soft, and warm. I have a couple other skeins of Air Light, so I really like the feel of it. And I was concerned because my other two skeins of Air Light, they are heavier fingering weight singles than I'm used to with TML. So I was a little concerned that this was going to be like that, but by comparison, they're pretty much exactly the same weight. You can see that there. So I think that these two are going to become a something. I gotta tell you, there's a new shawl that was just released by Amba O'Brien. She's an Australian designer, and it's called the Adra Wrap. And it's a stunning, very light coloring. And it calls for 2 skeins of paired well together fingering weight yarns, and then 1 of kid silk lace. So mohair and silk lace. And so I'm looking to see if there's something that I can find that would pair well with these to use for that. It uses the way that she's got it colored is actually these shades. And then the kid silk lace that she picked is like a baby soft white peachy kind of tone. So the way that the wrap works is that she's got her pink tone and her kid silk lace striping, and then her neutrally color in lace sections in between the stripes, in between the striping sections. And so that could be really pretty. So we'll see. We'll see. I have plenty of shawls to knit. I still have Waiting for Rain, Waiting in the Wings. I have Boneyard now. I have my RNG3. I have plenty of shawls to be knitting, so I've got some time to mull that over. But this helped me get into the new level on the Yarnathon, so why not? It's my birthday. Splurge a little. So that is absolutely everything now. I just want to thank you guys so much for your continued support of me and my channel. I hope that you are getting excited about tomorrow and about May here or almost here, depending on where you are in the world. I have got to sign off here so that I can go edit this thing together, and I will see you guys, I guess, on Wednesday with my first Stitch With Me video in a very long time. Looking forward to it. I hope to see you there. All right, y'all. Take care.